Phantomaniacs! Welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are looking at the final figure, I think, depending on what order I put these up in, of the, I believe, 5th wave of G.I. Joe Ultimates from Super 7. Major Bludd, a critical Sunbow character, one that I want to see in any Sunbow-related line that ever comes out. That voice, you have to have him. He's one of your top Cobra guys. He's a main eventer, so to speak. Packaging, standard issue Super 7 Ultimate packaging. No longer doing the slipcover, no longer doing the packing box, and I don't care. Put them in a plastic bag. Or make them all deluxes. If you want to hear my pitch for this whole line to be turned into deluxes, be sure you watch the CoverGirl review. There have been some ups and downs. Well, I love Super 7. Everybody knows that, and everybody gives me heck about it. But I do love Super 7. But we have to acknowledge that there are problems that have been going on for a while, and that sort of come and go within the line. Roadblock was mostly great with a couple of issues. The Crimson Guard, design-wise, was fantastic, but some production issues that made it a return. CoverGirl, a couple of minor issues, but overall fantastic figure. And now Major Bludd, who I'm hoping, let's wrap things up with a win, with a complete, unqualified win from Major Bludd. Back of the box, great looking Sunbow graphics. Let's open it up and check him out, because I'm dying to know how we're going to close out this, well, really this year. I know it's already 2025 because I just didn't have time to get these done before the new year. But right now, for me, I'm closing out 2024. So I hope, as much as I love Super 7, I hope to close out Super 7's 2024 releases that I purchased anyway on a good note. And so far, so good with Major Bludd. I have given up on trying to cut through these tabs from the back of the box. In general, that's what I want to do because I'm so nervous about scratching the figure up with the edges of my nippers. But it is the plastic tabs that Super 7 and some other companies use are so tight and have so little give that you can't pull the tab up enough to cut them from the back. And I'm not super excited about these legs because it looks like it's going to be tough to get enough of an angle to cut. All right, got that one. I implore every toy company, stop using these things. They're horrible, and they're too tight on the figures. You can actually see on Major Bludd's legs here that those bands were so tight that they've left marks, which is not a great start. Ugh. Sorry, I'm left a little speechless because now I've got to wonder if I heat that up, will the plastic sort of recover? Or are those marks just in there permanently? And this is either I deal with those marks or I have a return or whatever. I don't know. Did I get that one? Okay, good. So that actually went, oh, and he popped right out of there too. But this plastic's still way too rigid. He looks really good. The plastic is so soft that I almost wonder, and I guess I need to find out right now, really. Let's see. Okay, so interesting. I wasn't sure. You can see those marks have lessened a bit. That's about 60 seconds of heat. And what I was saying is the plastic that really all these companies are using now is so soft. Ooh, that helped those hips out too. Man, I really need to get back in the habit of just heating these up every single time. And no, we shouldn't have to do that, but that is, and not, again, not unique to Super 7. That's the action figure world we live in now. Or it just makes life easier if you're willing to heat it up before you start messing around with it. But it's softer plastic, so it regains, just like when we get warped accessories and heat those up, these things regain their form a bit. All right. So there we go. Oh, and see, he looks great. These colors, I mean, this brown with the silver, the blue. Look at that portrait. The blue helmet is great. Now, I probably will not be leaving the default portrait on, although I said the same thing about Roadblock and ended up using the angry portrait. This little collar here. That arm, which the debate for me will never end as to whether this is a cyborg arm or armor to protect him from his rocket blaster. And either way, we're not going to be leaving that fist hand in there. I just love this really basic, let's zoom back out a little bit for a minute. I love this more basic Major Bludd look. Like, it's a little more utilitarian. I don't know. I like him kind of stripped down. And in most cases, I don't want to see Sunbow looks on more detailed figures. It just it doesn't really work for me. Oh, interesting. He does not have any kind of upper torso articulation, and really just mostly a swivel at the waist. Although it is contoured, so you don't have, like, when you turn him, you don't get that ugly line. But yeah, no torso articulation, which I'm fine with. You may or may not know this about me, but I am tired of over-articulated action figures. I think Super 7 Ultimates in general have the perfect amount of articulation, and they could even do things like eliminate because I think this joint, this square boxy looking joint that's in so many figures now, is really, really ugly, and I'd rather not have it. He looks great. Really does. Nailed it. One thing I will say, this doesn't bother me because it's a cartoon-based figure and not everything needs to look all realistic, but I wouldn't mind a swappable holster where you've got one that's functional, that'll actually, I haven't even gotten his accessories out of the tray yet, where you've got one that actually interacts with the accessories, and then you've got one that's purely just for looks, where it's much smaller and more reasonable looking and has a molded blaster in it. I would really like that. Let's see if there's an accessory that I would have preferred they do that. Although, again, as I mentioned in my CoverGirl review, I think this whole line should just go to the deluxe format. Just my opinion. Oh gosh, yeah, this tray is just as rigid and terrible as the other ones from this wave, which, I mean, I expected. Typically, if there's an issue like that, and I am defining it as an issue. Now, for all I know, Super 7 wants these terribly rigid trays that are difficult to get the accessories out of. I don't know everything about toy manufacturing and about the goals of the various toy companies. So far be it from me to call something an error. But I will say a tray this rigid is not my preference. Okay, got everything out of there. So let's stand Sebastian over there and take a look at his loadout. First, I'm going to look at these alternate portraits. You've got a nice yelling portrait, which I like. Let's do the zoom. Looks good. And then you've got, what is this, singing? I'm guessing this is from a very specific Sunbow moment. I cannot recall it off the top of my head. Pretty hilarious, whatever it is. Won't be using that one, but it's funny that it's in here. I think I'm definitely going to go with the angry yelling head. Now, let's see. This varies from ultimate to ultimate, and I probably can't do it on camera. Yeah, hang on. There we go. Definitely going to be using the yelling head. because Major Bludd is an intense, angry man. I'm going to have to heat that up. So, give me just a moment. All right, 30 seconds with the hair dryer should do the trick. Yep. There we go. As I was saying, Major Bludd, intense, angry man. Yelling head, I think, is the one to go with. And as I've said with other ones, this is cartoon-based. This is Sunbow specific. So while in most of my action figure collections, I prefer a more neutral facial expression, with some exceptions. With something like this, I want a nice, expressive face. I also want trigger finger hands with up-down joints rather than side-side joints, but Super 7 is not satisfying me in that department. I wish he had a pointing hand. And that elbow, just because of the design of that armor or cyborg arm, I prefer cyborg arm, only gets so much range. You don't even have a 90 degree on that. But I personally, I understand why. We've got two different blasters available. One is the Sunbow style hand blaster that I believe we've seen before in this line. And then you've got one that's very reminiscent of his rocket blaster, but modified into more of a sort of laser situation. I'll probably go with that one. I don't know if that's authentic to Sunbow, but it does look good for Major Bludd. His finger does not fit in the trigger guard, which is annoying, and has been a thing with, I think, Crimson Guard. Had the same problem. So maybe I won't use that one. Oh, wait, actually, this one could maybe go here. Okay, so we can store both of these. Or maybe I don't have him holding a blaster at all. Oh, see, that what is going on? I don't feel like that's been a problem. But I'm trying to think back, and I don't know that many of the Super 7 Ultimates blasters have had trigger guards. Most of them are, I think, like this. But still, I mean, they should be designing the trigger guards to accommodate a finger. Other alternate hands, he's got the more open C-grip hands, and then a left trigger finger. A4, I cannot tell you off the top of my head what this is. I am sure it is something that Cobra is stealing for nefarious reasons. Tell me in the comments, what is A4? And then a bomb. Looks great. And I don't think I've got anybody else displayed with this, because Cobra Commander might have come with this. I'm not positive. I do believe we've seen it before, but I could be wrong. It might have been a different bomb. But I like this one. I might display him with that. Some binoculars. Neat to have. And then probably a detonator. So maybe, since he's got this pistol, let's see if the other blaster fits in there. And looks halfway decent. So either one can fit in there, and actually that one might look a little better. I think I'm going to leave him with that one in the holster. I'm going to give him... I'll be curious to see. You'll notice paint loss is just going to happen with all these parts painted, whether it's NECA, Super 7, or anybody else. If you're painting these parts with motion, whether it's joints or interchangeable hands or whatever, there's going to be paint loss. That's just a fact. So let's see if we can put the detonator in this hand. Well, you know what? It might work better. No, I think I'm going to stick with this hand because these hands are a little softer plastic, so it can accommodate. Oh, maybe I just do that. That doesn't look great. So I'm just going to... So put the detonator over here. Put our bomb over here. And I guess he's going to blow himself up in my little sunbow shelf. That doesn't seem like a good plan from Major Bludd. Maybe I'll go with a different look. But whatever the case, I mean, he's got some unique accessories that look cool. But I will also say, if this had been a deluxe Major Bludd, even with just a default neutral head and this blaster, overall, I think I would have been just as happy with the figure. So I am once again encouraging Super 7. Look, just move this to deluxe. We don't need all the extra accessories, and I'll be good to go. So there he is, Major Bludd. Overall, very satisfying. Didn't cause as much frustration as some of the other Ultimates this time around. I like him. I'm thrilled to have him on the shelf. Like I said, he is a critical character. You got to have Major Bludd for your Sunbow collection. I hope they get around to him in Reaction Plus sooner than later. And that's another thing that I've said is if Super 7 decides to just focus their resources on Reaction Plus, I'm okay with that too. But thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And until next time, Cobra!
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.